Let's be honest, most meetings stink. If people aren't falling asleep in the first couple of minutes, it sure feels like you want to. There is so much wasted time in meetings. People say that half of their meeting time is wasted. One of my clients was just telling me that in a 60-minute meeting, usually the first 45 minutes are junk, and you maybe get to something valuable in the last 15 minutes. That is very common. So today I'm going to give you a tip that improves the quality of your meetings. But that's not all, because 2/3 of people say that they're checked out of work. They're not engaged. Think about that for a minute. 2/3. So even if you are having a meeting, a lot of people are barely paying attention because they're checked out. So the change I'm going to give you is going to help address that as well. The best part about this is it's super simple. You can do it in your very next meeting. It only takes about 90 seconds. It's free, and it will improve your meetings and employee engagement. I'm Rusty Gaylord. I'm an executive coach, and I help ambitious mid-level leaders break through to the next level. Here's the change. You start your next meeting with wins. It's a very simple concept, but I want to explain for a minute what a win is. A lot of people think a win is a result that you've achieved, closing a big client deal. I mean, those are great, but they don't happen every day. So when I talk about a win, I'm talking about something that is moving the needle forward, that is progress, that's an action you're taking where you're making progress. It's not like, oh, I sat in meetings all day or I answered 60 emails. No, I mean something that actually moves the needle. So this is advancing the deal, having a difficult conversation with a client, saying no to a peer who asked you something that's not relevant, making a decision and shipping a product that you've been sitting on for a long time, scheduling an executive update. These are actions that you're taking that are moving the business forward. It takes about 90 seconds to go around the room and everybody shares a win in 1 or 2 sentences, something that they have done that's progress since the last time you met. Everyone gets a turn, share a win. That's it. It's that simple. Now I'm going to give you 5 reasons why this actually works. And stick around for the 5th one because it's the most counterintuitive and insightful and powerful one of all of them. Reason number 1, you're reclaiming wasted time. We started with the premise that half of all meeting time is wasted. I'm sure you've experienced this yourself. So you're not actually using something valuable. You're taking 90 seconds and you're getting rid of something that's not helpful and you're adding something that is helpful. This is a way to start with a particular focus and a clear intent, and it gives you a clean start to the meeting. Instead of the chit chat and how was your weekend and all those kinds of things that you normally start with. You're not adding fluff, you're adding something specific with purpose, and you're not taking anything valuable by doing it. Reason number 2 is one of the values you get out of this, which is you are going to drive engagement. I just told you at the beginning that 2/3 of people report that they're disengaged, they're checked out at work. By sharing a win, you're tapping into a psychological pattern because people are naming out loud something they're accomplished, something they have accomplished in front of their peers. And it lands differently than any kind of behind the back or private kind of recognition, because recognition is shown time and again as one of the cheapest, free, underused motivators that we have. You are building that into your meeting process, and it works. Because not only are people getting recognized, but they're actually claiming their own progress. There's a secondary benefit here because boring meetings are one of the ways that reinforces disengagement. If you have to sit through these meetings and you feel disengaged and they're not productive, it just becomes a downward spiral. So starting by sharing a win can break that spiral right at the start. Reason number 3 is sharing a win helps with connection. I was actually inspired to talk about this whole topic after reading an article about a middle school in Atlanta, the Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School. Here's an actual picture of it. The headline of the article was that one silly question that they asked in class dropped discipline problems by 50%. They were asking things like, what's your favorite pizza topping or what makes you happy? And the philosophy was they wanted to talk about connection before content. And it worked. Discipline issues dropped by 50%. So I'm thinking to myself, how could you translate something like this into the office space? Now, we've all been in meetings or bigger kind of group settings where you do an icebreaker and you do share things like what is your favorite pizza topping or your favorite kind of ice cream, but that's not really appropriate to do in every meeting. But sharing a win is something you can do in every single meeting you have. You don't have to only do it in these big offsite meetings. And it's going to create connection because you start to understand the people you work with and you start to root for them because you see what they're working on and the progress they're making. These kind of lessons you can take out of the school, you can translate them into the workplace, and sharing a win is a great way to do it. Reason number 4 is it gives you context and understanding of the business. When you hear other people sharing their wins, you start to understand what they're working on. Instead of just your slice of the business, you get a broader perspective. It's actually one of the most valuable things you get when you get promoted and you get exposure to higher and higher levels of the business. You get perspective, you understand what's going on, and you can see more broadly across the business, and it helps you understand your role and what's important and what to focus on. I did this deliberately when I was managing my team at Apple because I had a team that had very disparate kind of work responsibilities. And outside of our team meeting, they did not have a lot of touch points between them. But these kinds of sharings of wins and sharing project updates helped them to understand what each other was working on, brought them context, brought engagement, brought connection, and made them more valuable. Okay, so you ready for reason number 5, why this actually works? And here it is. That's right, 2 guys on the bus. So what do I actually mean by this? I mean, you know this. It's how do you change perspective? Because a big part of what I do in my work is I help people change perspective. I help them change to the other side of the bus. So much of what happens at work are things that are outside of control, but there are absolutely things you can control. What happens in a meeting is one of them. Some people might just say, our meetings here suck. There's nothing I can do about it. I just got to sit through it. I got to tolerate it. And it drives this cycle of disengagement. But you have the opportunity to change to the other side of the bus. You can change your engagement. You can change your relationship with people. You can make a difference. It requires changing sides. Now, if I challenge you to say, go into your next meeting, and next meeting you start, ask everyone to share a win. You're going to have to define it for them. Make sure they understand what it is they're doing. Say it's only one sentence. I don't want to hear a whole story. I just want a little sentence. The email that you sent that you've been sitting on, the decision you made to move forward. Share something that allows people to move forward. And I challenge you to start your next meeting with that. And there's people out there who are going to be like, nope, too risky. I'm just going to have to suck it up. There's no way I'm going to talk about that. And I challenge you to change to the other side of the bus because you are empowered. You can make decisions. There are things that are within your realm of responsibility you can do to make your role better, make your job satisfaction better, and it's going to help the other people around you. If this idea of changing sides of the bus, changing your perspective resonates with you, watch this next video. It is one of the most powerful perspective changes you can make that helps you master motivation so you can get things done that are important to you. It's linked right here.